now. Put me on the stage now. I'm ready to rage now. I feel like an animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. My time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop. This time, like the last time, you better get ready to race to the top. I'm ready to do this, show you what the truth is. I step on the field, it's time to get real. I'm feeling so ruthless. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Yeah. So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. Get in the game, your moment of fame. Show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up. It's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time. Nothing can keep me from reaching the top. This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride. I'm ready to throw down. It's time for the showdown. I'm ready to rise. Don't be surprised, I'll take on the world now. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top. We're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. We're reaching the top. We're reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up. I'm never going back down. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Anytime you can have a product that can truly change someone's life, I think that's an incredibly powerful product. I can't tell you how long we put into research and development for this. Most liquid carnitine is around 1,500 milligrams. We have a 2,000 milligram blend of 4 different types of liquid carnitine. We also have GBB, so you're actually going to be burning fat after you consume this product. This is going to make you sweat. This is going to make you not want to stop. You are going to perform like you've never performed before, and I can promise you that.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Straightening the curves, flattening the hills. Someday the mountain might get 'em, but the law never will. Making their way that's just a little bit more than the law will allow. Just a good old boy, they wouldn't change if they could. Fighting the system like a true modern day Robin Hood.
Live from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway in virtual Hampton, Georgia. Welcome, sim racing fans, to the Core Racing League Vintage Cup Series live on Racecraft TV. Happy that you all could join us here on this beautiful Monday evening. I'm your host, Joshua Lee. Alongside with me in the commentary booth is Jordan Hicks. And Jordan, we're entering the halfway point of the second round of the playoffs, and these playoff standings are starting to heat up. 8 points separating Chris Hamilton and Eric Andrews currently on the cut line. Carl Handwerk locked in. Everybody else looking for their first win of the round.
You know, I'm definitely really excited for this one because everything's starting to heat up like you said, and plus we're in Atlanta, so I'm excited to be here.
Hot track temperature, low grip track is going to make for some interesting racing out there on the track with these cars that are already tough to navigate. Grabbing a look at the schedule for this series, and we continue on the road to the finale in Kansas. Tonight we're here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Last week it was Carl Handwerk getting it done at the Daytona International Speedway, and now we join here at the here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Next week we'll be at the Richmond Raceway. Then we'll have an off week for the 4th of July weekend, and then we'll be right back in action the following Monday at the Kansas Speedway for the conclusion of the championship. Grabbing a look at our track facts for tonight. The Atlanta Motor Speedway, very characteristic, one of the more character-filled intermediate tracks that you'll find. Hasn't been repaved really since the reconfiguration a handful of years ago. And it is a bumpy track that is always going to chew up those tires, and you can expect a pit window of roughly about 30 laps. These tires are going to be chewed up so much here on these cars. And old racetrack opened up in 1960, and it's a 1.5 mile racetrack, but it definitely is going to race a lot like a short track, and everybody loves to race here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Time currently falling here on qualifying, and we'll get ready to grab a look at your Racecraft TV starting grid for today's race here from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. Starting on the pole, it will be Andrew Gunther in the 59. A bit of a surprising face up at the top of the leaderboard in qualifying. He is not one of your playoff drivers. He's looking to spoil the party for everybody else currently in the playoffs. Mark Thomas will start to his outside, another one of those non-playoff drivers. Joshua Kirsch, another non-playoff driver, starting in third. Carl Handwerk, the first of the playoff drivers, and he got the win 1 week ago at Daytona. He doesn't need a win here today to lock himself in. Eric Andrews rounds out the top 5. He's your first playoff driver that is not currently locked into the next round, with the 2 of Nick Nickerson to his outside in 6th place. Down the rest of the grid, Wesley Fuller, another one of those playoff drivers. He's below the cut line right now, 25 points below the cut line to be specific. He starts in 7th. Dylan McDonald in 8th. He is one of those non-playoff drivers, hoping to spoil the party for the remaining drivers in the playoffs. Matt Crockett, also below the cut line by 17 points. He starts to the inside of Kevin Foster in the 8, who had a great finish at Daytona 1 week ago. He's currently 28 points to the good on the cut line. Jimmy Covert in the 14, one of those non-playoff drivers. He'll start in 11th. Christopher Hamilton in 12th in the number 64. He's only 8 points good to the cut line. He needs a good day here. Paul Butler rounds out your drivers that took time in qualifying. Then Derek Sherman and Anthony Keiswetter rounds out the 15 cars. And Paul Butler as well in that number 68. Currently sits 28 points below the cut line. He needs a good day here from the virtual Atlanta. Field getting ready to roll themselves out here from the front straightaway at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is one of the most famous and one of the most historic racetracks that you will find here in iRacing. Provides a lot of unique challenges that the normal intermediate tracks do not provide. And we'll grab a look at today's Racecraft TV race analysis. 80 laps we'll go racing for here tonight. This is the second race of round number 2 in the playoffs. One fast repair available to everybody as usual, and we'll be looking for these drivers to come down in the pit lane every 30 laps or so under the green flag. Jordan, any early predictions as we head into tonight? Because this is a stacked field, a lot of playoff drivers and a lot of non-playoff drivers that are just trying to make something happen here with the last 3 rounds.
You know, you can see him peeking out from the second row, and it's the 18 of Carl Handwerk, so I'm going to have to go with him to be tonight's winner here in Atlanta.
A lot of other great drivers looking to knock off the 18. Andrew Gunther, fastest in qualifying. He'll lead the field to green. Mark Thomas on his outside. Joshua Kirsch with a great qualifying effort in the 23. He'll start up there in 3rd place. But as the official iRacing.com pace car will lead the field into the pit lane. Andrew Gunther in control of the field, and we're racing from Atlanta. The leaders wreck on the back straightaway. The 59 hard into the wall.
Surprisingly, no caution been at least pulled out, as there's a pretty big wreck goes the leader, Josh, so very surprised on that one.
The 59 of Andrew Gunther makes contact with Mark Thomas. We'll grab a replay and see exactly what happened. That was very, very surprising from your 2 leaders up at the front of the field. And we'll very quickly grab a replay. We'll go back all the way to the start here. See exactly what happened, because this was a bit of a shocking wreck to say the least here on the back straightaway. They were going 3 wide a little bit further back. You can see the 2 of Nick Nickerson go all the way up to the wall, but the 50 of Mark Thomas gets loose, slams himself into the wall, sends the 59 going down the track, and he slammed with the rear end of that car. And that unfortunately brings out the first caution of the night, and it involves 2 incredibly fast race cars and Mark Thomas, I honestly am feeling for him a little bit more right now because he got a lot more damage, and you can see that car. He's going to need to use his fast repair early. Same thing with the 59. This will put us under the caution for the first time tonight, and we'll grab a break to thank a few of our sponsors here for the Core Racing Vintage Cup Series. You're tuning in to the Core Racing Vintage Cup Series live on Racecraft TV. Don't go anywhere. Green flag action when we come back.
We needed more.
More from our bodies.
More from our minds.
So we went on a mission.
To study the top level of performance across every competitive playing field.
To find what fuels the highest level of athletes, businessmen, and gamers.
Through intense trials across every competitive, we found that there were 5 undeniable principles that help your body operate at the highest level of peak performance all the time.
Focus. The ability to visualize and execute with precision. Focus is the single most important component when it comes to performance.
We combined multiple choline sources, including alpha GPC, choline bitartrate, along with L-tyrosine to help boost mental performance.
Recovery.
We need to take you from 5% to 100% as fast as possible. Bounce back with nourishing BCAAs.
For body and mind. Energy.
Fuel to get the job done. Answer the bell with confidence that you'll be able to attack energy and intensity.
We mix a blend of instant and sustained release caffeine to light a fire with
300 milligrams of GO.
stamina.
The willpower to see it to the end.
But true stamina is coming back day after month after year. We incorporated L-carnitine to deliver energy on a cellular level, with betaine anhydrous and taurine augmenting those effects.
Hydration. Sports science was built on hydration, and it's no secret why.
That's why we added a blend of electrolytes to help sustain performance. We tried all of the other energy drinks. They may help you stay awake, but not much else. We combined all 5 pillars of performance into one single form.
Focus.
Recovery.
Energy,
Stamina.
and hydration. We call it Refresh Technology.
And it delivers more.
Welcome back to the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. You're tuning into coverage of the Core Racing Vintage Cup Series live on Racecraft TV. Joshua Lee, Jordan Hicks, glad to be back with you here as base car pulls down into the safety of the pit lane, and we're back underway here from Atlanta, and already a good start for the 2 of Nick Nickerson as he dives to the inside but quickly slows back down. To believe we might have another caution called on the racetrack. The entire field slow. Not sure what is happening. The green flag is out. It sounds like an issue with something on the league admin side, so they called a manual league caution. We'll see when we'll get them back going here. They will be manually restarting at the start-finish line. See how quickly that will take as they bring their way to the front straightaway here, and they'll give this start one more try, not behind the iRacing pace car, but they will get restarted manually behind the 18 of Carl Handwerk, the current race leader, and he'll go on the loud pedal, back underway. Back to the back straightaway. Handwerk leading the way up at the front of this field, trying to run away with that lead. The two of Nick Nickerson makes a move to the inside, and he'll grab second place as they race back off the banking and onto the front straightaway. Handwerk looking to continue the domination that he had at Daytona. He survives all the chaos there to walk away with that win. He's now trying to walk away with the win here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, but still side by side further back looking for that spot. One car spinning down into the apron. I believe that is Joshua Keiswetter that went spinning, or Anthony Keiswetter. It was 34 involved in this incident. No caution, we stay green, and we'll get you back to this battle for the lead now that has developed between these two front runners. About 3/10 separating these two at the front of the field. You can see the two running that outside line. Looks to be a viable line early on here, Jordan, as he is getting a great run coming off of the corner, and that gap starting to close in. 2/10 now.
You know, definitely it's a pretty smart move because you can get that push when you exit the top half of that track, and you can see the two slowly making a move, but he gets up into the wall. Josh, I think that's the one main factor to running that high line is if you hit that wall, you could lose some spot.
Didn't lose too much. He's still looking to the back bumper of the 18. You're on board now with the two. Great run to start the day for that number 2 machine, because he comes into today's race not locked in, only 18 above the cut line. So he's looking for a good day here from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. Battle brewing further back. This is for 4th place between Eric Andrews and Dylan McDonald behind. It looks like the 35 of Wesley Fuller also back there. They'll race back to turn number 1. Field still working on getting settled into this race, as this is the first green flag run that we have had of the day after that first lap caution. Nothing being able to be made up at the front of the field for the two. Still not gonna be within striking distance for the lead. Battle further back. It looks like Kevin Foster, Jimmy Covert fighting for the 9th spot. You're on board with the 8 of Kevin Foster. Everybody's starting to migrate up the track and up to the high line right by the wall here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. That seems to be where everybody wants to be running, and it makes sense really here tonight. That seems to be the fastest line currently on the racetrack, so if it's working, they can keep it out of the wall. No reason not to go down there and start running down there for position. Eric Andrews going to the bottom of the racetrack to try and fight for the spot. This is the battle for third place on the racetrack. Joshua Kerr's trying to rally around the outside to keep that spot from the 20, to keep that from the 9, excuse me. Back through turns 1 and 2. The 9 still trying to work that bottom line, but the outside line now, Jordan, seems to be the dominant line as everybody is up there and getting really good runs. The 9 car is falling back now on the inside. This battle for the lead is going to heat up. The 2 gets loose on the wall.
A nice save for the 2 right there. Luckily, no contact made with the 18, as that was probably about an inch or so away from clipping the back bumper of the 18 car, but a great save for Nick Nickerson in the 2.
Lose a lot of time now, though. 6/10 now separating himself and your current race leader, Carl Handwerk, in the 18. And you can see this entire top 6 running relatively close together, all within about 2 seconds on the racetrack. Wesley Fuller still trying to find a way around Dylan McDonald in the 38. They're battling for the 5th spot at the moment. Everybody's starting to space themselves out, except for the 68 and the 14. They go side by side, battling for 8th. Butler trying to hold that 8th spot. Covert now on the bottom of the racetrack in the 14, trying to power around. Doesn't seem to be working to his advantage at the moment, as he will fall now into the clutches of Kevin Foster in the 8. Foster not with the best day to start the night, but he hasn't lost any positions on the racetrack. He started in 10th, currently running in 10th, as he'll go to the inside of the 14 of Jimmy Covert, fighting for 9th. Can he roll that bottom line well enough to get that spot? Covert almost makes it 3 wide in the middle. Looks like he almost went for it, but goes up into the line with the 68. The gate of Kevin Foster now down on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to now fight for P8 with Paul Butler.
You can see the 14 not really letting him go, so he's going to try and retaliate and hopefully get that position back from the 8.
Side by side, it's the 68 and the 8. Foster's not able to do anything on the bottom. He tries the middle line now as Butler running around the 3rd line on this racetrack. Closing in on that pit window in roughly about 12 laps or so. We'll be expecting drivers to start looking their way into the pit lane. And Jordan, we did have that early caution and that extra caution lap added on as well. Do you think we might have an opportunity to see drivers try and stretch it out? And Carl Handwerk has just lost connection to the race server, I think. Completely disappeared from all of our timing. We'll see if we get anything in the iRacing console chat that says anything about Handwerk falling out of the server, but he is completely gone. The 2 car now leads the way.
And you know, that's definitely one way you don't want to lose the lead, as you know, connection is everything here on iRacing, and so it's definitely very interesting for the 18, so hope to see him come back in this race.
He is completely out of all of our timing, out of the race, but I don't think he hasn't fully disconnected from the race server as far as iRacing has told us. Did he just completely drop out? That doesn't seem like something that would happen to Handwerk. It hasn't happened to him the entire season. We'll use our replay function to go back to when he was on the track and see if we can exactly figure out when it happened and what exactly did happen. So here's the 18 on the racetrack. This is a replay. He was leading the way. We'll fast forward it a little bit, see exactly when this happened, but it did just look like He did, just completely disappeared from the race. And he did. The server disconnected due to incoming packet loss. Handwork completely losing connection to iRacing, and he just threw this race away.
You know, that's definitely one way for the two to take over the lead. Unfortunate for the 18, Josh, as I don't think that's going to help him within the points since we're in the playoffs.
He does have that win last week at Daytona, so luckily it's not as bad as it would be for one of those drivers not locked into the finale in Kansas if that happened. But I did say he threw that race away. I shouldn't say that. His internet threw the race away. No fault of Carl Landwork at all. Just unfortunate circumstances, and you can bet Jordan he's not going to be happy. Nothing he even did to knock him out of this race.
You know, definitely, you could just be racing and everything goes away within a second. So if that was me, I know I'd be mad, and I just want to at least get up, take a breather, because, you know, especially when you're racing in a league like Core Racing, it's hard to go through that. And you can see the 38 gets sideways right there, saves it, coming out of 1 and 2, bumps the 35, I believe, but a nice save for the drivers. But like I was saying, you know, it's not easy getting a connection loss, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
The 38 of Dylan McDonald was the one that got loose up there on the outside. Everybody scattered to try and avoid him. Now he's side by side for 5th with Wesley Fuller, as Fuller tries to power around the bottom of the racetrack. Started in the 7th spot. He is up 1 position from where he originally started, trying to gain more on the racetrack as the 38 goes back into the wall. Struggles continue for that 38 machine. And he's going to be pitting in this time. Just said it over the iRacing voice chat. In comes the 38 of Dylan McDonald. So he's pitting, obviously, to maybe get some damage repaired that he has on that race car. But, Jordan, this is going to affect him with that green flag pit stop strategy. He's going to be off strategy from everybody else. Like we mentioned, that fuel window about 30 laps, about 28 to 32 to be specific. So he's not going to be off the strategy of everybody else. This could affect him later on in the race as we see him pull into his pit stall and grab that fast repair, grab 4 fresh tires, and he'll be right back out.
A very interesting call for the 38, but, you know, it's always good to have some damage fixed when you go in, but he's not, like you said, too far off of that pit window, so I don't think much will happen, but a lot of the drivers will be able to go a tiny bit longer than he will later on in this race.
I'm not sure if he elected to take his fast repair. He did not. He did not take his fast repair. He's going to get that damage fixed in the pit lane, which is not going to help him. He's already 1 lap down. And he is going to go even 1 more lap down at that, as here comes the 2 car across the line. So that is not going to help that driver of the number 38 whatsoever. He's still sitting in the pit lane. He might go 3 laps down. Unfortunate for the 38. He's just going to stay in the pit lane. Jordan, would you take your fast repair there? Because he's now going to go 3 laps down under green.
You know, I don't think it's really worth it. I would wait if I was in a very huge wreck in order to take the fast repair, but, you know, depending what happened to his car, he's the one who can see it the most out of both of us, so whatever he thought was the problem, I guess, he thought it was the time to pick that fast repair.
Battle for 3rd you're watching here on the racetrack. Eric Andrews to the inside, looking for the 3rd spot on Christopher Hamilton. See if he'll be able to grab it. You're on board with the 9. Dives it back into the corner, and you can see the difference in lines that both of these drivers are running. The 9 running more in the middle line, the 64 running more on that outside line. Doesn't look like the middle line is the place to be, as the 64 will pull away from the 9 car of Eric Andrews. But up front, Joshua Kirsch is starting to reel in your race leader, albeit he's not gaining too much time to him, but he's also not losing a lot either. It's only about 9/10 at the moment. and staying relatively at 9/10. Jordan, we haven't talked about Joshua Kirsch, I don't think, really at all this season in the races he has done here on Racecraft TV in this series. He has not had the most stellar performances. He is showing that he could be a threat for the race win here and spoil the party for those playoff drivers here in Atlanta.
And it's crazy to think he's only like 9/10 down from the leader, and that's not terrible because, you know, anything could happen. We're only on lap 33 of 80, so he's got plenty of time. You can see the two up near the wall a little bit. Don't know if he's struggling getting around that turn, but it seems like the 23 of Joshua Kirsch is trying to make something happen here at Atlanta.
And he's doing a good job of it too. You can see him gain a little bit of time down to 8/10, now around 1 second as he works his way back through the corner. And we'll keep an eye on this battle for the lead, but expecting drivers to come in for pit stops. One car already in and out of the pit lane. It was the 51 of Derek Sherman. Normal pit cycle for him, 42 seconds spent in the pit lane, but he is 1 lap down and now goes 2 laps down out here on the racetrack. Should be able to get those back once we see a majority of those leaders come down into the pit lane, but currently nobody else taking to that pit lane just yet. And Jordan, what I was going to mention before we saw that 38 come into the pit lane was, now the 2 comes into the pit lane, so he isn't going to try and stretch it. Joshua Kirsch follows him in as well, and Derek Sherman is going to need to come down into the pit lane one more time. But I was maybe wondering if some drivers would try and stretch it around to halfway and only make it a 1-stop pit stop, but it doesn't look like they were able to do that.
You know, and it's definitely risky, so I think now's the time to go in, get some fresh tires, and maybe some fuel.
The 2
depending on
misses
where they
pit
are.
box!
That will definitely hurt him, I'm pretty sure, depending on how long it takes for his pit crew to get those 4 tires on. So this could be a lead change here in Atlanta.
Watch the race off pit road. This could be a change for the lead. The 2 completely missed his pit box. He had to back up for it. I don't think he lost enough time. He did not. The 23's jacks go down. Now he will gain at least a little bit of time, but it's not going to be enough as Kirsch comes out of the pit lane. 22.2 on the stop, the 22-second stop for Nickerson. And even with that backup, still having a faster pit lane time than Joshua Kirsch. So out and away goes the 2. He'll remain your race leader. Mark Thomas is in. Jimmy Covert is in. Paul Butler is in. Derek Sherman in for his 2nd stop and a more extensive stop too. Most likely got some damage somewhere. Andrew Gunther, your pole sitter to start this night, is into the pit lane. He did not take his fast repair from that opening wreck. Mark Thomas did, but you can still see that damage to the back end of the 59. He did not take his fast repair then. Expecting him to grab it now, and he did. So he will use that fast repair. Rear end damage will be fixed for the 59, and we'll see if he can rebound and try and make his way back up to the front. Wesley Fuller comes into the pit lane. Kevin Foster, Christopher Hamilton. This is the battle for the lead at the moment as both of them stay out on the racetrack. One car saying they are coming into the pit lane. I believe that is going to be the 8 of Kevin Foster. Yes, it is. Foster pulls down onto the apron and into the pit lane. Christopher Hamilton still stays out. Will the 10 of Matt Crockett come in? We're also waiting on him to make his first pit stop of the night. Joshua Kirsch in the 23 will go on by, and the 10 is going to stay on the racetrack. So now the 61, or Christopher Hamilton, is your race leader as we still wait on him to come down into the pit lane. Still waiting on the 10 of Matt Crockett to come down into the pit lane. Will these guys trying to overcut these pit stops anymore? The 64 is slow down and onto the apron. He'll make his way into the pit lane. Will Matt Crockett do the same as he makes his way through turns 3 and 4? He slows down, and he is going to do the exact same thing. No, he's not. He's going to stay on the racetrack for the time being. So Matt Crockett will take your race lead this time by the start-finish line. He now leads the way from the virtual Atlanta. You can see Foster coming back onto the racetrack. He, unfortunately, will go 1 lap down. Everybody now one lap down except for your top four, which is Matt Crockett, current race leader, Christopher Hamilton, Nick Nickerson, or Joshua Kirsch. And the 10 still stays out on the racetrack, and as we go halfway done, still waiting on Crockett to pull his way into the pit lane, but once he does, this will be the battle for the lead right here, and as you can see, it is a fairly wide margin now between these two. And is the battle for second place. As you can see, the two of Nick Nickerson, a solid 2.6 seconds over Joshua Kirsch. Expected to be the battle for the lead once we see Matt Crockett bringing it into the pit lane, but he's still on the racetrack, and there he goes, bringing it into the pit lane now off of turn number 4. Staying out that long did not seem to help him, as the two will undoubtedly come across the line this time by to grab the race lead once again. Still running the outside line up by the wall. He will keep doing that. Back onto the front straightaway. Go right on by the 10 of Matt Crockett. And he will retake the lead here from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. So the two of Nick Nickerson leads the way. Joshua Kirsch in second. It's Kevin Foster, Wesley Fuller, Christopher Hamilton, your top 5. We will grab a break here on Racecraft TV, but don't go anywhere. We will go Racecraft TV side by side, so you won't miss a minute of the action here from the virtual Atlanta for the Core Racing Vintage Cup Series.
We needed more.
More from our bodies.
More from our minds.
So we went on a mission.
To study the top level of performance across every competitive playing field.
To find what fuels the highest level of athletes, businessmen, and gamers.
Through intense trials across every competitive landscape, we found that there were 5 undeniable principles that help your body operate at the highest level of peak performance all the time.
Focus. The ability to visualize and execute with precision. Focus is the single most important component when it comes to performance.
We combined multiple choline sources, including alpha GPC, choline bitartrate, along with L-tyrosine to help boost mental performance.
Recovery.
We need to take you from 5% to 100% as fast as possible. Bounce back with nourishing BCAAs.
For body and mind. Energy.
Fuel to get the job done. Answer the bell with confidence that you'll be able to attack with energy and intensity.
We mix a blend of instant and sustained release caffeine to light a fire with
300 milligrams of GO.
stamina.
The willpower to see it to the end.
But true stamina is coming back day after month after year. We incorporated L-carnitine to deliver energy on a cellular level, with betaine anhydrous and taurine augmenting those effects.
Hydration. Sports science was built on hydration, and it's no secret why.
That's why we added a blend of electrolytes to help sustain performance. We tried all of the other energy drinks. They may help you stay awake, but not much else. We combined all 5 pillars of performance into one single form.
Focus.
Recovery.
Energy,
Stamina.
and hydration. We call it Refresh Technology.
And it delivers more.
Welcome back to the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. You're tuning in to coverage of the Core Racing League Vintage Cup Series live on Racecraft TV. Currently following the battle for the 3rd spot on the racetrack. Kevin Foster in the 8 car and the 35 of Wesley Fuller a little bit further back as they'll race back to the stripe, head on to lap number 47 of the day. The 35 of Fuller trying to close that gap to the 8 car in front. Both cars running the outside line. And Jordan, we were talking about this during the break. It looks like this outside line is the place to be. Everybody's running up there right now. Nobody really differing from this line. And you can see both the 8 and the 35 running it through turn 1 and 2 and in 3 and 4.
And the nerve-wracking thing about it is you get so close to that wall, it's like you mess up or do one wrong thing and you're in the wall and you lose your placement that you have been in for who knows how long.
Still about 3/10 separating the 8 and the 35 currently on the racetrack. A little bit of a closer battle further back. This is Christopher Hamilton and Eric Andrews battling for P6 on the racetrack. Andrews down to the bottom of the racetrack. Looks like he gets a better run through the mid corner, and he's able to actually make the move on the 64. Great run for the 9 car of Eric Andrews as he'll move his way up into P6. That is going to massively help him in the points. He's outside of the cut line, and guess who was on the cut line? It's Chris Hamilton as the caution comes out. The 68 of Paul Butler around back straightaway. Oh, that is unfortunate for the 68. It was 28 points under the cut line. Needed a good day here from Atlanta. And that is going to put out the caution flag for the second time tonight. Taps the wall. He'll collect the 10 of Matt Crockett. Oh, tough luck for the 68 and hard into the wall as well. Still has a fast repair available, and you will undoubtedly have to use it here. Grab another look at this replay coming through the corner. You can see him. He's running that outside line. Exactly what you mentioned, Jordan. Just looks like he got in a little bit too hot, not off the throttle enough or not on the brakes enough, and taps the wall and collects him in the 10 car as well. Luckily, not a lot of damage to the 10, but a lot of damage to that number 68.
And you know, he made one wrong move, like I was saying, Josh, and he didn't really tap it as hard as you would really think, but these cars can get loose so quick to a point where you can go around in a matter of seconds and you can't even save it.
So here's the scenario we're looking at right now. Fuel window is roughly about 28 to 32 laps. We're at 30 laps to go in this race. Fully expecting drivers to come down into the pit lane because they can make it to the end on fuel unless we get an overtime attempt. But it looks like everybody is going to come in. They're going to deal with that overtime attempt if they need to, because this is the entire field down into the pit lane. Nobody staying on the racetrack here. So everybody good to the end on fuel. Everybody brings it into the pit lane. And we'll see who will win this race off pit road, and if we'll see any surprise winners off pit road. The 68 of Paul Butler, 1 lap down. He pulls off of the pit lane after coming into the pit lane under a closed pit. So he will also have a end of the longest line penalty. Eric Andrews out first. Oh my, that looks like it was a fuel only stop or a 2-tire stop from the 9 of Eric Andrews. That is strategy for that 9 machine. He'll come out of the pit lane first. He'll restart at the front of the field. And we'll grab a quick break here on Racecraft TV. But when we come back, the green flag restart for the 9 of Eric Andrews. 2-tire gamble under this caution. We'll find out if it pays out right after this. Welcome back to the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. You're tuning into Racecraft TV's coverage of the Core Racing Vintage Cup Series live on Racecraft TV from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. Joshua Lee, Jordan X back with you here in the booth as we get ready to go back to racing now. The 9 of Eric Andrews with a 2-tire pit stop under that last caution pit cycle. That puts him to the front of the field for this restart. That moves the 2 into second place. Can Andrews hold on with those 2 tires? The 51 of Derek Sherman on the inside. He is 1 lap down. And on this restart, we'll take you through Racecraft TV Sounds of Speed to hear all the wonderful audio from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. The 2 car slams the wall going through turns 1 and 2. Here comes the 35 of Wesley Fuller down to the inside to take the spot. And how much damage will that 2 car have now? We'll grab a look at your Racecraft TV replay. We've been talking about this as being one of the dangerous things about running up at the top of the racetrack. You can see him, the car just drifts up to the top, slams into it, gets loose, and he has to go all the way to the right of the wheel to try and get it to be saved. And it's exactly what he did. He was able to save it, but now falls to third. Eric Andrews, Wesley Fuller, your top 2 now. Well, as we continue to work our way now through 23 laps to go. Here's your pole sitter, Andrew Gunther. Started on the pole, got caught up in an incident on the opening lap of this race. Now trying to fight his way back. And he's right on the back bumper of the 2, fighting for the 3rd spot. Oh, 1 car into the wall. That's the 51 of Derek Sherman. Sherman goes spinning down the track and hard contact with the 50. Hard contact with the 64. The caution comes back out.
Definitely not what the 50 wanted, but there was nothing he could do as the 51 came down because he was loose. We're going to take a look at the Racecraft TV replay. You can see the 51 into the wall. Starts to come down, tries to save it. 14 goes by, and the contact is made by both the 50 and the 64. Not what they wanted, but bringing out the next caution.
I think I feel for the 64 the most out of anybody involved in this incident because he is on the cut line of the playoffs, and this will put him under the cut line and most likely in a must-win situation heading into the next round. Nowhere for him to go either. He's going to lose a ton of track position here. He still has his fast repair. The 50 unfortunately does not. The 50 is going to be the one that is hurt the most by this currently on the racetrack, but the 64 could be hurt by it the most in the points, as this could set him back in the field. If he's not able to make his way back up, then he is going to be in trouble. Everybody into the pit lane, pretty much from the front on back. 3 cars stay out. That is the 59 of Andrew Gunther, the 10 of Matt Crockett, and that's it. The 23 Joshua Kirsch is in. The 2 car comes in for 2 tires. He's right back out on the racetrack. Also taking 2 tires looks to be the 14 Jimmy Covert. Yes, he did. 12 seconds on the stop. Everybody else 4 tires. Eric Andrews takes 4. Kevin Foster takes 4. Fuller, Kirsch, Hamilton all with 4. The 68 of Paul Butler stays out on the racetrack. So now that's going to put the 59 of Andrew Gunther up at the front of the field. If he does not come into the pit lane, And Jordan, we only ran a handful of laps under green. Those tires were not that worn for really anybody back in the field. Thinking if anything, they're coming in to maybe just top off this fuel and make sure they're good to the end in case we do end up with a green-white checkered overtime finish.
You know, and anything could happen within these next 21 laps, so it's going to be interesting to see who goes in and who doesn't and tries to make it for that long run to the finish.
20 to go. If they pit now, they will be good through green-white checkered and everything. A lot of these drivers pitted last with 30 to go, which, depending on how much fuel they burn throughout the green flag run, I should say, they could end up running out if we do get an overtime attempt. They could end up running out even if we don't get an overtime attempt. They could be anywhere from 2 laps shy to probably about 2 laps to the good. This is going to be cutting it close. So the 59 still is going to be one of those drivers cutting it close. Same thing with the 10 car of Matt Crockett. There you can see the stint numbers for everybody on the racetrack. That meaning the laps since they last came down into the pit lane. You can see 9 for both of your front 2. And everybody else coming in all the way down to Paul Butler, who pitted about 8 laps ago. He rounds out your top 10. Currently also the last car on the lead lap. So we'll come across to the start-finish line this time and most likely grab those lights out on the iRacing pace car and the 1 to go, and then we will be getting back to racing. Yes, we will be this time by. So Andrew Gunther in the 59 with a great position now. Jordan, he qualified on the pole, 32.834, his best lap, up there with a lot of drivers with their best laps of the race. Do you think he can hold on now to this lead? He has been gifted a lead, but the 2's behind him. The 10 of Matt Crockett is there, the 14, the 9, all rounding out the top 5.
You know, he's definitely got a pretty fast pack right behind him, so he's definitely got to play defense really, really hard when we go back green. But like you said, you got the 2 back there. The 2's so fast to a point where he can get up in the lead within, I'll give him 4 corners, and so the 59's really got to play defensive here, and maybe he can walk out into victory lane.
He'll be going green with 18 laps to go. The 38 of Dylan McDonald on the inside line. He is currently 2 laps down. Single file restart here at the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway. Pace car down into the safety of pit lane. The 59 of Andrew Gunther in control of the field. He's off and away from the virtual Atlanta. How much of a gap can he put over the rest of the field? He's already putting a great gap in between himself and Matt Crockett, already about 7/10, and he'll put a car in between him as well. The 38 of Dylan McDonald falls back behind the 59.
All he's got to do is keep on going, and you can see the 38 trying to make some moves, and I'm pretty sure the 38 is, I'm not too sure what happened. Got a little confused with the timing tower, but it's actually the 10 behind him, so I'm pretty sure the 38 was just a lap car.
He was, and he will get one of those laps back as he crosses the line, 1 lap down now. But that does spell trouble for the 59. Not only is he now getting a bit of dirty air from the 38, he also is realizing those fresher tires on the 38, because he pitted into that last caution, is going to help everybody behind him as the 10 of Matt Crockett swerves down to the bottom of the racetrack. The 2 now running the outside line on the back bumper of the 59. The battle for the lead heats up as they come through turn 4. Nick Nickerson to the inside looking for the lead. He's gonna take the lead. He'll clear him coming across the start-finish line. The 2 back to the point at Atlanta. Does Gunther have anything to say about it? He's running the outside line still out here on the racetrack. The 10 of Matt Crockett is loose, almost makes contact with the 14. Covert's able to swerve out of the way, but Crockett's slow on the bottom of the racetrack. No caution, we stay green. Everybody single file as they race through now turns 3 and 4. The 59 trying to catch up to the 2, but the 2 is pulling away at the front of the field. $15 laps to go now from the virtual Atlanta. Further back, you can see the 9 of Eric Andrews. 4 tires on that last caution, trying to get around the 59. This is the battle for second on the racetrack. Great night for Eric Andrews so far. Looking to keep that going. Not able to find a way around the 59 just yet. The 35 also trying to find a way around the 14 for the 4th spot. He'll still be running in line. See if that'll change. They come back to the front straight away. Still running fairly tight together in line. 9 car goes to the inside of the 59, looking for P2. And he will just barely edge him out on the back straightaway. Is he going to be able to clear him? Not yet. The 59 actually powers around the outside to take that spot back as they would head back to the corner. And the 2, your leader, Nick up here at the front, is being held up by the 38 of Dylan McDonald. Remember, the 38 is currently 1 lap down. But these drivers are continuing to run side by side, allowing the 2 to continue to run away. Andrews tries to slide up in front of the 59. Not going to happen as a mirror full of the 14. Now 3 wide down the back straightaway. 5 cars all within about half a second here on this racetrack. Actually, all within about 3/10 on the racetrack right now. As they race back to the stripe, everybody in this group battling for second place. Joshua Kirsch also looking to catch up to this fight. Side by side for P2. Andrews dives into the inside. Gunther still trying to roll that outside line, but it looks like both lines now at this point in the race are relatively even as the 9's not able to clear him, but the 59 is not going away up on that wall. The 14 of Covert dives it to the inside, looking for 4th place on Wesley Fuller. 2 by 2 now for about 3 rows deep as here comes Joshua Kirsch to join the battle. He's trying to catch up to all of these drivers in front of him. And the 2 finally is going to be able to get by that lap machine of Dylan McDonald, but he is loose down the back straightaway, but he saves it. So now the gap between first and second is about 8/10. Gunther able to finally fully clear the 9 car. Puts Andrews back to 3rd. But with a gap of about 7/10. Don't think he's going to be able to make up enough time, but the 2 car looks to be slowing up, and the 59 looks to be at least speeding up a little bit. 6/10 now separate the 2. It was down to 3/10 at one point. Can the 59 rally back for a victory? Or will the 2 of Nick Nickerson walk away with the win here tonight and clinch his spot into the finale round of the playoffs?
You can see that gap getting smaller lap by lap. So the 59 is slowly catching up to the 2. He's just got to make that move. And you never know what could happen. He could possibly get that lead or get bumper to bumper with him, and the caution could come out, but 7 to go here at the Bueno.
That caution would bunch him right back up to the 2. Or the 59 now just trying to get around the 38. Looks like that 38 has burned up his tires. So this ultimately needs to be the time the 59 goes for it, and he will go to the inside of the 38. When will he be able to complete the pass is the question, and how good can he run that middle line and still gain time? It looks like he's able to do it relatively well. Five tenths now separate your race leader from second place Andrew Gunther, and you can see the 38 is able to get back around the 59. So the lapped machine currently of Dylan McDonald could be hindering the 59 from catching your race leader. He'll clear him going into the corner, and he slams the door on the outside line. But here comes the 9 car of Eric Andrews to the inside. The 59 taps the wall, goes down the racetrack. Eric Andrews to second. 4 to go, and they come across the line. What will Eric Andrews now be able to do? Gunther will fall back into third. Can Eric Andrews catch up to the race leader and possibly make a run at this win? 5 tenths is the gap as they come across the line for 4 to go. The 2 car running the wall, the 9 running about middle line. Who's going to get the better run off the corner? 4 tenths is the gap. Spreading out a little bit too much on the straightaway. That outside line gets such a great run down these straightaways. But you can see the 2 dips down to the bottom of the racetrack to try and get a little bit of a run coming into the dog leg. Doesn't work out too well. 4 tenths exactly the gap at the line. 3 laps left here in Atlanta. Andrews gets a great entry, able to get closer to the 2, but you can see how good the 2 car is on exit, trying to pull away. Time is running out for the 9 car. If he wants to walk away with this win, he has the 59 and the 8. Andrew Gunther, Kevin Foster breathing down his neck. So he tries to focus forward to beat Nick Nickerson in the 2. 2 laps to go from Atlanta. Will it be enough? Off the corner, any ground going to be made up? No. The 2 continues to run away. Not letting him get too far, but the 9 isn't getting close enough to make anything happen. He'll have 2 more corners and 1 more lap to do it. White flag this time by. 1 more lap to go from the virtual Atlanta. Andrews trying to close it in. 2 tenths the gap as they work their way through the middle of the corner. Off the corner they come. Still not close enough to rally with the 2. He got taken out at Daytona. Now as he makes his way through turns 3 and 4. No pressure out back. It's all Nick Nickerson at the front of the field, grabbing the win in Atlanta. He now joins Carl Andwerk as locking himself into the finale round of the playoffs at Kansas. A great finish there. It looked like the 2 started to fade, but he didn't fade enough. A great 80 laps here from Atlanta. And a great win for the 2 of Nick Nickerson. An absolutely fantastic race that he was able to put together here from Atlanta. We'll grab a look at your full race results here from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Core Racing Vintage Cup Series event. Round number 2 of the playoffs, the second race of the round. And what an exciting one it was. The 2 walks away with the win. The 9 car of Eric Andrews in second place. Andrew Gunther, Kevin Foster, Wesley Fuller rounds out your top 5. Jimmy Covert, Christopher Hamilton, Joshua Kirsch, Paul Butler, Matt Crockett rounds out your top 10. And down the rest of the order, we have Dylan McDonald, Derek Sherman, Mark Thomas, Anthony Keiswetter, unfortunately getting caught up in an incident. He finishes 59 laps down, and Carl Handwerk completely losing connection to iRacing. He finishes down in 15th. Time to enter our post-race show here on Racecraft TV. And we'll grab an interview with our winner, the driver of the number 2, now joining us here in the booth. Nick, another great race that you're able to put together. It seems like whether it's the Core Racing Premier Series or the Core Racing Vintage Cup Series, you're running up at the front and you're contending for that championship. How does it feel to be locked into Kansas?
It's quite a relief because anything can happen in these 87 cars. You know, sometimes I'm fast, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I get in the wall like I did a couple times. I guess I was fortunate that Carl lost his power, which put me in the seat to win and lock me into Kansas.
And we saw you qualify relatively down the order. You qualified in 6th to start the night here from Atlanta. Was it a little bit of warning sirens when you took the green flag that you knew this was going to be a bit of a tougher race, that you had to kind of learn how to race the track and learn how to get faster as the race went on?
Hey, you know, not really. I messed up on my qualifying laps, so I was just trying to push it a little too hard. So I knew I had the speed, at least the hot lap speed. Just kind of recovering in the beginning, which did fairly pretty quickly. And then at that point, it was all tire management. You know, like at the end, I almost lost the race. Some guy, one of the lap down guys, was really racing me for that lead lap position and burnt my tires up. Fortunately, he was holding off the guys behind him too. So I got pretty lucky with this win.
Well, we know that you're going to try and win every race in the Premier Series. Is that the same strategy you're going to have here in the Vintage Cup Series? Only one round left in this round of the playoffs, Richmond Raceway, but then we have the championship at Kansas. How much are you focusing on Richmond versus that finale?
You know, just take it 1 week at a time. I kind of pretty familiar with how these cars drive. It doesn't take me much time to get like a good lap down. I'm pretty familiar with Richmond and how the best way to kind of run Richmond. So that one's going to be fun. I don't got to worry about nothing. Just going to go out there and try to win it. And then same thing with Kansas.
Nick, thank you so much for joining us here on the post-race show. Congratulations on your win.
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys.
Great to talk with our race winner tonight, the 2 of Nick Nickerson. A fantastic drive from him. Seems like always it is a fantastic drive from the 2. But now it is time to sign off here on Racecraft TV. 1 week's time, we have the 3rd race of round number 2 of the Core Racing Vintage Cup Series playoffs from the virtual Richmond Raceway. But tonight, for Jordan Hicks, I'm Joshua Lee. We're saying good night from the virtual Atlanta.